I remember the first day that God placed it upon my heart to start a church, knowing that God had big things in store, but we just didn't know exactly what that was going to be. So we began to pray about, God, where do you want us to be? Where is it that you would want us to start this new work that we believe that you were calling us to do? And the Lord led us here where I'm standing right now at the Oasis Center in Corona del Mar to a small library room that held about 30 people. And we thought this would be enough space for a while. This would hold us off for a while, that we could be here. And then we begin to see God bring the people in the way that He only can do, by His Spirit. And one by one, He started drawing people. And we saw more and more people coming to know Him, more and more people having a desire to study God's Word. And we were just so thankful to see God's work begin. But little did we know what God had planned on the horizon for our church. So we were meeting for about 3 months, and then we started having to bring more chairs in, and more chairs, and more chairs, until there really wasn't enough room in this small library room to fit any more people. And so we began having people sitting out on the patio outside the doors, and we realized, well, maybe we should look into getting a bigger room. So it was just a few months after we had started that we moved rooms, and we moved to room 5. Maybe some of you were there at room 5. And we began to meet with a whiteboard behind me and a classroom-like setting, me on a stool, and just sharing God's Word, simply teaching the truths of His Word and seeing what God would do as we conducted a Bible study. And the next thing we knew, that people were learning and growing and loving coming to Regenerate. They started bringing their friends, and those friends started bringing friends. The next thing you knew, we were just looking at what God was doing, and we just knew God was doing something. And before you knew it, people were calling this their church. And so we knew it was time to start a church service, a Sunday morning church, more than just a Bible study, but to launch Regenerate Church on Sunday mornings. And so we did that. We met here for about 8 months until we had our very first Sunday morning service at the Triangle Theaters in Costa Mesa. So today, we want to build a monument to the Lord. A monument. Throughout the Old Testament, the people of Israel would build a monument, a pillar, as a memorial or remembrance of what God has done when He would supernaturally and divinely intervene on behalf of the people of Israel. Let me tell you, church, God has supernaturally and powerfully intervened. My prayer for this ministry has always been, God, would you do something so great that when people see what you've done, they would only be able to say, that's a work of the Lord. Not a work of a person or a pastor or a leadership team or a body of believers. But my prayer is that God would just continue to do something so great in the years to come, that as we continue to see what God has in store for us, we would realize this truly is a work of God. So church, remember, this is a monument today. We build this memorial. Looking back, what God has done, we remember God has always helped us thus far. And we know, as we take steps of faith forward, God will always continue to help us. And that is something we're celebrating today.